So are some of those, you talked about having certain education requirements or a financial piece, you've got to cut a check to the government. Are those pretty simple? Are those low hurdles to clear? Or can you talk about those requirements?
Sure. Well, I mean, when you think about physicians, for instance, I mean, most of us don't, believe that we ought to have people who know what they're doing, have gone to medical school if they're a physician. And so you have a minimal level of education, and then you also, that you've paid for, and then you also have, some sort of an internship or a residency program. And then you have to pass certain licensing boards. They have national board tests for the physicians. And then you write a check. In Nebraska, it's once every 2 years. I don't know what the routine is, if it's yearly here or not, but you have to write a pretty good sized check. Now, for other occupations, we were talking earlier about things like pipeline locators, the people who go around and look for the one call licensing or one call lines. A lot of times those folks will only be making $13 an hour, and they could probably have a 10-minute primer on the license on how to work the machine and go out and do it.
Right.
But instead there is an effort underway to create a license for that, so that they actually have to show that they've got X number of hours of training, and then they have to write a check to the government.
So when we're talking about job licensing, we're not talking just about a physician. We're talking about, frankly, a lot of jobs that be on the sort of the lower or middle income levels of the spectrum, right? So can you talk a little about what the challenge is for some of these hurdles for folks on those type of careers?
Sure. Well, talk about cosmetologists or barbers. They oftentimes have, anywhere between 1,500 and 2,000 hours of class time required. And then they have to take some sort of a test, and then they have to write the check. Well, going to school and having the experience, to cut hair, if that requires you to take 2,000 hours worth of cosmetology school, that's a high starting point, in terms of cost to have paid out in order to practice a particular occupation. And those particular occupations probably are going to take a long time before they're able to recoup their cost.